So we wanted to do a video about PCOS. I know Hannah can attest to this. This is probably the most asked question we get all the time.
Besides, what do you eat?
Right, definitely. And is Jillian mean? That's probably the second. That's probably the second most asked question. But no, seriously, people are. That was such a huge part of both Hannah and my story on
and our life in general.
Oh, absolutely. On Biggest Loser, post and pre Biggest Loser. So, what is PCOS?
PCOS stands for what?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it
sounds very scary.
I was going to say, like, do you remember when I found out I thought I had cancer? Like, first of all, I did not understand what it was. No. And my doctor...
She called me and was like, we have a syndrome, and they're saying you probably have it too. Oh my gosh.
She was like, you have cysts all over your ovaries. Well, when you hear like cysts and like
you think
tumors, like I was literally like, oh my gosh, I have like ovarian cancer or something. Like,
it's very scary.
I don't know why, but I was just really, really scared.
And back then, 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't as wide known as it is now. I feel like.
I think it was 15 years ago. Yeah. I was diagnosed when I was 25.
Oh,
I'm almost 40.
Did we start a trend?
I know, yeah, exactly.
Kidding.
But yeah, no. So they're just, people weren't really talking about it a whole lot. Right. Basically, all I was told was, you have to lose weight. That's going to help regulate your periods and things. But more than likely, you'll probably never, ever have children. Well.
And it's going to be harder for you to lose weight because of the way your metabolism is affected by this and the way that your systems are affected.
Right. So.
That was really discouraging, I felt like.
Oh my gosh. Like, I immediately was just like, great. So the only thing that's going to make me feel better and kind of rectify some of these situations is if I lose weight, but yet my body isn't going to let me lose weight. Like
how's that going to work?
And I feel like that is really a big kind of myth and misnomer. It is difficult, but you can lose weight. And one of the great things about polycystic ovarian syndrome is that it does, even though it's not the rhythm of the body that you want, it does have a rhythm to it.
And it can get better.
Yeah. And I feel like, PCOS, it really... It likes routine. I know in a weird way, even though it makes your periods all out of whack. And I mean, for some people, not for everybody.
Sure.
One of the reasons it's considered a syndrome.
You had steady periods, didn't you? Oh, you're pretty steady.
The heavier I got, the more spread apart my periods got, and the more symptoms I started to see.
And mine were just really sporadic, and I went months and months without having a period.
And then you'd have like a massive one.
Yeah, and the biggest problem for me was I was on birth control for so many years because I thought it would help my regulation. Then I got on the ranch and Jillian was like, birth control is the devil. And it's true. It's not the best thing for you.
The thing about birth control is, and again, we're not doctors.
Right.
I mean, you're almost masking the symptoms. And so that was for me, the only way I found out that I had PCOS is I was getting off of the pill. I'd been married for like a couple of years and I wanted to start trying to have a baby. And so I got off the pill. And I remember our OBGYN was like, oh, well, it'll take you anywhere from like 2 months to a year to have like a regular cycle.
Get it going.
Well, it was like over a year of being off the pill and I never had not one period. Yeah. And I finally went in and I was like having my regular like pap smear and I was like, I don't know. And she was like, oh yeah, that doesn't sound right. I'm going to just like give you a little vaginal ultrasound, which by the way, if you've ever had one of those, yowza. Like that's the worst.
And it's very awkward.
Oh my gosh, so awkward. But anyways, so I had one of those and both my ovaries were just covered with cysts. She was like, oh yeah, that's why you have PCOS. We just didn't know because you were having regular periods because the pill was forcing you to have those.
And my biggest problem is too is right before I got married is when I just got off the pill and a lot of other things came up that I had issues with that I didn't know. There was a little bit of a thyroid issue. There was a progesterone issue, and I had no idea because the birth control was really masking all those things.
Right. So we're not saying get off your birth control.
Not at all.
That's a choice you have to make between you and your doctor.
But for me, that was something that I needed to probably do a long time ago. And I didn't.
And then the same for me. So
what helps PCOS eating wise? Let's talk about that.
The thing about PCOS is it's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Sure.
There's a breakdown in the metabolic system, and a lot of people who have PCOS are insulin resistant. Both Hannah and I are not insulin resistant. What does that mean? That means that your body doesn't per se respond well to sugars, carbohydrates, those kind of things. And our bodies definitely do that, but we do produce insulin and we don't produce too much or too little. So we do
have trouble. Like I'm probably not going to be able to eat a whole wheat bread sandwich every day. That's probably not gonna happen for me.
Absolutely. The best way. And I remember Jillian even said when we were at the ranch, she was like,
she's going down the line, remember?
Yep.
You're eating this, you're eating this.
You can have oatmeal, you can have Ezekiel bread and almond butter, you can have this, you can have that. You can have egg whites and Greek yogurt. Like that was like, and berries.
Even Ezekiel bread at that point, we had it on high calorie day.
We did once a week.
But we weren't allowed to have it every day.
Right.
Everyone else could.
Right.
Olivia and I were like,
I know, it was really terrible, but it was amazing because the very first week, Hannah and I both lost 16 pounds. And I don't know about you.
We were shocked.
I remember when we were going to weigh in, I just kept telling Hannah, I was like, I don't think I've lost any weight this week.
I didn't feel like I
feel any different. And I got on the scale and they were like 16 pounds and 16 pounds. I remember
she went first and I was just like, oh.
I couldn't believe it.
We always dieted together. Like we did stuff together and it would be like a pound, half a pound. Right. But also I was eating Weight Watcher meals and lean cuisines, and I was eating, whole wheat toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and a whole wheat roll for dinner. Like I was eating things that just should not be eating.
And exercise is really key to any weight loss, and especially PCOS. It's going to really help to keep those stress hormones low, like cortisol and things like that.
DHEA, absolutely.
All of those really nice and low.
You should research your hormones because that's the biggest thing of knowledge is.
Absolutely.
Really knowing your hormones and knowing your body.
Your OB might want to send you to an endocrinologist just to kind of get a basic test so you can just see what's a little out of whack.
What your levels are.
Really and truly the most important thing with PCOS and trying to lose weight is diet. Hands down. And
number one.
I mean,
people are like, I have to run, I have to do this, I have to work out.
You do have to die out.
You do have to die out.
Oh my gosh.
Don't die out.
Oh my gosh.
No, working out is important. It's great for your heart. It's important for your body. It helps with your loose skin. It helps with your muscle tissue. But your diet is numero uno. If that is not in check, then you are not in check, girl.
And the thing is that it really, really, really does take some of the stress off of your body, which I think is great. Like if you're constantly giving your body things like, lots of carbohydrates, lots of starches, lots of fake foods.
It has to work so hard to process that.
Like granola, not granola bars, but those diet bars and things like that. If you're your body is working so hard.
And I hate to say this, but I'll say it because I'm Hannah, but if you're not pooping, you're not eating the right things. Hate to say that.
Well, that being said,
I'm sorry, but that's true.
Well, but me, I eat all the good stuff and I have a really issue poop.
Yeah, but you have but you still do.
No,
think about it. Think about when we were
absolutely.
eating all that processed stuff.
It is really true. And your poop tells a whole story.
Oh, well, we all know that.
A little bit of poop talk on the side.
PT, as we call it.
Yeah, but it is true. I think eating high protein, lots of green veggies.
Because remember, people are like, well, you guys eat low carb and that's not good. Veggies have carbohydrates, fruit have carbohydrates. We're just talking about the processed carbohydrates that we don't like to eat. Now, on cheat day, that's a different story.
Right.
But, white flour, I don't even really eat white rice or brown rice. I eat brown rice sometimes a little bit, but there's things that I don't eat when I'm,
But if you have PCOS, you can eat brown rice, but on occasion.
Yeah.
Not every day. You can't, it's just, Like
my husband and I, even in me in a quarter of the quantity that he eats, we cannot eat the same things.
Right. And you will find the cleaner and leaner that you eat, almost like a diabetic, even though PCOS does not mean you have,
a little bit.
It does mimic characteristics of diabetes. Sure. Doesn't mean you have diabetes, but your body does mimic a diabetic in the way it processes food. Thank you. So I
just clean up that diet, and you'll be so surprised. Now, I'm not saying you're going to lose 16 pounds in a week because you're not. Right. That's just not going to happen. And our week was a little bit longer. Let's be honest.
Yeah, sure.
Then.
I think it was actually 9 days. It ended up being 9 days.
And we had been eating, drinking soda and eating. There was a lot of water weight and detox and things like that.
Absolutely.
The second week we didn't lose that much. But the thing about it is, as long as you're losing, albeit 1 pound, 2 pounds, even half a pound a week, remember what a pound looks like, okay? A Subway sandwich, loaded Subway sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Think about what a pound looks like. A pound of butter. Think about what a pound really looks like.
Absolutely.
And you just need to focus and just keep going.
Yep. And just know that the more good things you put in your body and the more weight you lose, your body is the best healer you can have. It will heal itself. You may have to have some additional help. A lot of doctors like to put people on metformin, some other kind of drugs that, will kind of help balance things.
But it's not a diet pill. It's not an excuse to take the metformin and eat bad.
And let's be honest, both Hannah and I were both on metformin, and I was eating like garbage, and I didn't lose any weight.
I was, yeah.
I mean, neither one of us lost, of course. Yeah. So, if you can do it, we both were kind of the mindset we wanted to do it it as much as we could without having to take a bunch of drugs just because,
But the second I walked on the ranch, I had only been on metformin because I was only on it for the last, because remember I didn't go to the endocrinologist for a way. Olivia kept telling me to go.
Right.
Olivia's the only person that can get me to go to the doctor ever. Oh my gosh, when I broke my back, that's a whole nother story. But I was only on it for 3 months, but nothing happened. And then I went on the ranch and they took it right away. So
Right. So, it's very, very important to get that exercise in, but to really, really crack down on your diet. I mean, crack down. Tell your doctor if you're not quite sure. Your OB, I guarantee you, has some kind of pamphlet or list of foods you should really.
There's so many books to read.
Oh my gosh,
we did so much research on our own. Our doctor gave us some good information, but we did most of the research by ourselves.
Yep, and the information is out there, especially now. Everybody talks about PCOS. It is so common, and what it really, really does mess with is obviously the fertility side of things, in the sense that a lot of people, you may have periods, they may be really long, you may be having periods and not ovulating, like there's lots of things.
You might have a beard or a mustache. Your hair might be thinning.
You might still have a beard or mustache, I'm just saying. But it is just one of those things that,
It's interesting because there's that new show on TLC called My Big Fat Fabulous Life.
Yes, something like that.
And she has PCOS, and she's talked about it a lot. And there's some things I just want to say into the TV, put down that wheat bread,
Yeah.
Like,
and a lot of people are like, oh, well, I just want to be balanced. I'm like,
I understand
I'm
that.
like, no. Your body is so off balance that to get back balanced, you have to go almost in the other direction, in the sense that you have to give your body a new normal, like create a new normal in your body. And that makes the biggest difference. Absolutely.
And I really, truly feel, and this is something that Bob and Jillian both were talked about with us, is I really feel like, besides our, the higher power, of course, but food healed our body. I really 100%. Yes, we exercise, and that was important, and you saw more of that on Biggest Loser than anything else. But what we put in our body, our fuel, was, I feel like, what really healed us.
Huge. So leave questions and comments below about PCOS. If you have PCOS, if you have encouraging stories, if you have questions,
if you're struggling, because let me tell you,
oh my
the hardest part for me keeping the weight off is food. So
100%, and still we both struggle
100%.
with keeping our cycles regular and everything like that. But we have.
I mean, I've seen specialists, and I've done all kinds of things.
Yeah, but we have done such a good job, and it is possible.
I'm proud of us.
I mean, obviously, we've both lost our weight. We've kept it off for 5 years.
I mean, the proof in the pudding right here.
Just had a baby, and contrary to what a lot of people are saying on the interwebs, I didn't use any infertility.
Nothing.
No IVF. I just got pregnant the old-fashioned way by counting my days and taking my temperature and all that kind of stuff.
And having some good times with Ben.
That's right. So,
hi, Ben.
So there is hope out there for you if you have just been diagnosed with PCOS or you've had it for years. Just stay positive. Leave questions and comments below. We'd love to continue this and do some more PCOS.
There's so many people that you can connect with online in this community, in the My Inspiration community that have PCOS.
We'd love,
including yours truly, us.
That's right. We'd love to actually bring our doctor in to maybe do some questions. So leave some questions below or comments, and we would love to hear what you have to say. And don't forget to
like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we love you so much. Bye, guys.